We back, baby. We're back. We're back in the Champions League, man. And was it ever in doubt? Okay, I'm completely lying. Of course, it's been in doubt. But today, man, when you just know it's your time, you know. And the stars perfectly aligned for us because all our rivals capitulated and flopped. They flopped, they messed up. I need to find out what went on in that Aston Villa Man United game. I don't know how Villa messed things up that big, but thank the Lords. Same thing for Newcastle, and same thing for a Nottingham Forest team who I'm gonna sound a bit rude, but I thought they were just pretty useless. And to be fair, they completely ruined the big advantage they built for themselves with their last few games. And I'm sorry, when you can't beat Leicester City, then I don't think you deserve Champions League football at all, to be fair with you. The CL is meant for the best clubs, the big boys, the teams that can actually afford to survive, and they don't have to run on 90% of their wage bill capacity, Aston Villa, just to have a chance to do anything in it. So this is great that we're finally back. And you know what, you guys? It's actually kind of refreshing to watch a game where there isn't like high emotions or high stresses or anything like that. It's simply a case of we fugazi a goal somehow. And I'm going to touch upon the goal because we didn't just fugazi it. We did something smart. I'll fill you guys in on that. And then all we have to do is play to seal out the result. Defend off the ball. Tactical discipline. Yeah. Players on point with their application. Quick toes, sharp toes, getting ready to close down spaces. Positionally perfect. Yeah. It's nice to see those tangibles also matter. It's nice to see us not have to play 10 out of 10 4D football all the time just to get results because this is what we need to add to this team, yeah. We need to be a team that can play in different ways, that can rise to the occasion in a number of ways, that has more, angles, more facets to our game. That has been one of the biggest things that's cost us recently. So it's quite fitting, actually, that to secure CL football, we do it in a pretty anticlimactic, responsible, safe fashion. And this is something that can take us forward now because with Champions League football, yeah, we can start to think a bit higher. Our ambitions are up here now, yeah? Our ambitions are there. Yeah, Winston Lee, Stewart, all this time you've been wasting talking to Delaps and guys like this, yeah? Right now, all you gotta do, just delete the agent's numbers off your WhatsApp, bro. That's literally what you have to do now. You know what I mean? I get why you're doing it. Oh, if we don't get CL, we'll need to sign our fifth choice options. Say less. But we got it now. So we can't afford to waste time. We have to start being on it right now. And this is going to make our summer window absolutely spectacular because now we can look at the creme de la creme. Now we can look at the big upgrade guys. And I keep stressing this because Champions League brings its own problems. And those problems are we need a squad now that is strong enough to compete midweek in the CL and then also maintain the intensity back in the league. That's been something these guys have not had to get used to for a while now. Yeah. It's going to hit them very hard. And for me, the reality simply is this. The squad at this point is not good enough. It's not strong enough. It's not good enough to do both. If we had CL this season, I'd be surprised if we were also able to bag Champions League outside of winning the CL or getting dumped out into the Europa League and winning the Europa League that way. I'm just keeping things humble, keeping things real. So this is a moment right now for us to capitalize, seize on this opportunity. Yeah, be ambitious and not waste time looking at 5, 10 different strikers. Now we have CL. It should only be 2 guys we're looking at, and it should be easier to get this type of move and deal done now. So CL soon come. No, CL is here. What am I talking about? CL is here right now. And I have to talk about the game, of course. And I have to talk about some of the positives. I think for me, one of the big positives today, I would say, is Tosin Adarabioyo. I think he played the quarterback role today. I think it was one of his best performances this entire season. When he was introducing the lineup over Jalaba, credit goes out to Enzo Maresca for getting the details right. Because if there was one thing this game to me that really stood out ridiculously, yeah, it was the attention to detail. Details, 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 details. In a game like this, where we saw the first half, it was a game where one mistake from the opposition was going to lose you the game. That was how tight it was. And from like a little tactical perspective, you did notice maybe both teams' reluctance to really do anything centrally. Both teams only played wides. Nottingham Forest using underlaps of their fullbacks to get forwards and early whip crosses from their wingers like Alanga. And us, on the other hand, we wanted to make sure our defensive structure was tight in the middle and looked to pick them off transitionally out wide. It created a game where it wasn't that exciting, not many moments at all. But I guess due to the magnitude of the occasion, both teams did not want to lose control of this game in the middle, because if you do that in the middle, you're going to get picked off and you're not going to come back in a game like this. So that was pretty interesting to see from that aspect. And we rose to that occasion. And this is where Adara Yo-Yo was probably the better selection to pick over Jalaba, because Maraska was like, I'm not taking no chances in this game today, yeah? I ain't doing that. A lot of these fans are crying and moaning about X, Y, Z. But when I know it's time to go for results, yeah? When it's time to go for results, I set the team up that way. I set the team up that way to get those results. And you could see that from the approach in the game and how we ended things, where this was like prime Cantanasio football. Bro, Dewsbury Hall on, Gusto playing out wide. Yeah, Lavia alongside Enzo, Moses Caicedo. We were an impenetrable wall. And Nottingham Forest had zero solutions against us. Outside of maybe one incredible moment from Chris Wood in the start of the first half, which, come on, I think it cancels out considering Neto didn't score the first goal from like a really lovely piece of play. The best piece of play we produced the whole game, which came again from my man of the match, Tosin Adarabioyo, who was just playing these beautiful line breakers for fun in this game today. But it was this passing selection that I really liked. He just knew when the ball had to be moved in different areas at the right time. He was playing, releasing the wingers 1v1 as best he could at times. When he had to step up on the ball and do a little bit of Beckenbauer, he was comfortably doing that at Nottingham Forest's half. And just how he punches these balls through the lines. I was thoroughly, thoroughly impressed with him. And it's no surprise that every good thing we did came from Tosin starting the play from defense. So that was the big positive that Tosin brought on the ball. But the main one was the defending. And he completely nullified Chris Woods. Completely nullified him. But it was just the leadership too I liked from Tosin. I liked the fact that he was on job today. He was alert. Like if he was in positions where there was even like a little bit of a advantage going towards Nottingham Forest's way, he's constantly scanning to find, where am I positioned off the ball? What am I doing to be ready to deal with any possible action that might come my way? That was the energy this guy put in defense today. And he made so many brave headers, glancing ones, interceptions, blocks. Yeah, for me, I think this was the best performance this season from Tosin. Comes at the right time. And it goes back to something I really want to make big emphasis on. And that is the details. Yeah, the details, the details, the details. The details to nullify Chris Wood. The details to nullify Gibbs White, who was a peripheral figure in this game today. And the details that led towards us scoring the goal that won the game and sealed our fate. Because it's pretty smart, and I'm going to explain it to you guys. We don't have Nico Jackson. We have no tall guys up front. So if you have a corner, does it make sense for you to play across inside the box, or would it make more sense for you to play short passing routines and go for short routines from corners? Because we was doing this time and time again. And I think this led towards the goal that won the game. And it simply comes down to that. Nottingham Forest are constantly preparing to deal with the cross coming in the books. When that cross isn't coming in the books, when we've played 2-3 passes out wide, which now isolates a Cole Palmer to have time and space to put in any whip ball he wants, think about, what is that doing? What is that doing now to Nottingham Forest's defensive shape to prepare for that corner? By the time the cross eventually comes in, they're completely disorganized. They're not as structured. Their whole routine has fell to pieces. That's what we did. That's what we brought today. And this is where we got the goal. Yeah, Palmer's cross wasn't out of this world, but enough was done to cause a little bit of mayhem, which led towards Cucurella putting a nice instinctive little like looping pass over the top. And the details, as I'm stressing, the details worked in our favor because that amount of disruption, a bit of chaos and unpreparedness led towards Nico Williams making the gravest mistake throughout this entire game with his poor defensive header deflecting off his bean onto the path of Pedro Neto. And when it's your day, it's your day. Not only was Neto alert to dealing with that situation, we had someone alert at the far post, which was Levi Cole, who scored one of his most important goals in his young career. And I thought this guy was outstanding defensively, especially second half, doubling up with Cucurella to try and nullify Elanga. And that, my friends, is how we won the game, because the details was considered. The details was mastered today, and the details ultimately won us the game. I mean, I'll say one more nerdy point too. Going for short routines from your corners also means that you're stopping Nottingham Forest having cheap counter-attacking opportunities, which they're probably relying on. They want to win those second balls in their half. They want to release Elanga. They want to release one of their wide players or their fullbacks. And they just couldn't do that because we completely controlled the game to stop any type of life happening for Nottingham Forest. And the more I keep thinking about this as I'm discussing the game, it's kind of nice to see that this young team can also win in a manner like this, can also win a bit dirty, a bit tactical, waste time, the dark arts, all that type of good stuff. That's good for their future because you're going to have to tap into this energy sometimes, bro. You're going to have to tap into that. And obviously, Maresca did the job at the end himself. Perfect substitutions at the right time just to add more control. And that's how we did things, my guys. And this is why we now find ourselves in the Champions League. So it's crazy that our whole season's worth of value boiled down to this point. But maybe this is the most fitting way for us to end the PL season to get ready for hopefully a brighter, more exciting future where we're now ready to tap into the next stage, because Maresca becomes the first guy in the Clear Lake now to get the infamous second season. And this is where we can kind of have a bit of an open mind now to see what he's going to spring us now. Maresca said before at Leicester City, I'm in my phase 1 ideas. I can't introduce phase 2 ideas yet. You need to build over time. You have to add things slowly. When the team master phase 1, you're then adding on top of phase 1 by implementing phase 2. We finally get to see someone do that. So it is a bit exciting to see what type of adaptations and changes that we're set to see. But my guys, man, yeah, a lot is lifted off us right now. Champions League is secured for this season. This summer's going to be absolutely big. It's going to be absolutely massive, my guys. And yeah, hope you guys are going to stay tuned and locked in on Blue Lines TV. Massive, massive result. We'll be looking back at this game. Yeah, this is the youngest team in the Premier League by far, playing a responsible way like this, securing a big result with the pressure against them. Yeah, things are going to finally start to happen. So my guys, share your thoughts on the game, and I'll catch you very soon. In a bit, my guys.